We're back, people, and today we're bringing on film on Terron Armstead, Miami Dolphins left tackle, who returned after, missing the first 2 weeks with injury. He looked absolutely amazing in this game, right out the gate, being elite in the run game and in the passing game, pass protection. I know some fans were worried about, maybe chemistry among the O-line because they looked pretty good without him, but they honestly took it to another step. This left side of the line, I'm going to do an Isaiah Wynn video later, and Wynn looked like it was his best performance. I'm feeling very comfortable with the left side of the line. Armstead was so good at blocking out in space, a lot of these pitch concepts. Armstead was a big reason that this was able to get, activated. And just look how well he was blocking out in space this game, cutting off that linebacker, holding that block all the way down the field. They set this up really nicely. Everyone pretty much has their leverage advantage. If you look at this, they're pitching this out to the left, and everyone that ends up being blocked, they have the leverage to be able to cut these guys off. They pin this guy down, Craycraft, to get the edge here, and then Armstead climbing to that level, able to get his hat basically even. You want to try to get across the linebacker here, but he just does a perfect job, high hand, low hand, and just carrying this guy all the way out in space and giving H-Han a perfect cut back right there. Very impressive that you're able to even, get hands on these types of players, let alone sustain it for that long down the field. And he doesn't get, let up the block until H-Han has already passed him down there. Or Mostert, my bad. But really impressed what I saw from Armstead in this game. Here we get to see Armstead on some, action out in space with H-Han getting this one on the long run. This was the one I was thinking of. He even stumbles a little bit there, but still able to, get his body on a DB out in space. He ends up getting cut right there, but you can just see how comfortable he is out in space again, being a puller from this play side. Hill sort of pins this down, pull out in space, take a good angle, identify where this guy's going to be. The corner doesn't want to take on an offensive lineman, so he basically just cuts him right there, but does his job from just being in the correct position post-snap. And then Armstead was basically perfect in pass protection, nothing to really worry about. Getting his one-on-ones, they definitely were comfortable with that. They make life pretty easy on the offensive line with a lot of the play action, sliding the offensive line, things like that. But when he got his true one-on-one reps, where you got to see him actually get out of his kick step right here, very comfortable, stays under control, really good hands, just waiting for this edge defender to commit. He's got his you want to play half man, half the man. His midline is in half of this defensive lineman. Uses that hand to just stonewall him, create that space. He tries to get around. It's just very easy for Armstead. Pass protection, he's so elite. Armstead out in space again, this time on a screen. It's a 2nd and 15 situation, and he just goes out, forces the linebacker to really just throw himself out of the way because he's moving so fast, and guys are just sort of scared of him in these situations. And even though he doesn't get the perfect hit on these guys, he basically forces them from look where he's aligned. This linebacker, he's got to be able to just cut him off. He pauses, then gets out on the screen, takes a really nice angle to cut this guy off, is in perfect position, and then Mostert wants to cut this back into the flow of his offensive line because that's what he's taught to do. So he presses a little to the outside and then hits the cutback lane. The linebacker wants to avoid this offensive lineman, so he just shoots all the way to the outside, takes himself out of the play just because of what Armstead was able to do from an athletic standpoint and mental standpoint to even get himself in that position. Here we get to see Armstead displace on this Mostert touchdown, just blocking straight up. He has to reset his hands. You can see he kind of, initially things aren't perfect right there with his feet, and he gets a little help there from the pulling Hill, but he gets engaged. Tries to, you can see what he does. A lot of this time in on pass pro, people will do the snatch and trap where they get hands into them and they just slap it down. You can see how he does that right there and knocks this defensive tackle off balance, and then he gets control of him and then starts driving leg drive, pushing him into the end zone, and Mostert works right off the back because that's basically Mostert's aiming point is this gap right here, this space, and Armstead helps seal that and sustain his block long enough for Raheem to get in the end zone. In pass protection again, Armstead isolated one-on-one, and things were just easy for him. He just understands when guys are trying to win around the edge, he just makes them take the long way around. He maintains that really nice positioning. He's always under control, very balanced out of his stance, and the guy tries to give him a little inside counter move, and he's ready, playing that inside. He's ready for that the whole time, staying patient, but he doesn't, fall for it at all. And then he goes to the outside, and Armstead is very good at just widening his guys, making him get very far around the arc, and the guy had no chance to ever get to Tua that entire time. Sometimes as an offensive lineman, you just got to let the defensive lineman do the work. He's trying to penetrate, get upfield, and Armstead just basically carries him past the play. Guy never has a chance. You can see how he takes that inside step right here, gets exactly where he wants to, just wants to cut him off. Offensive line, you don't always have to be driving, displacing. Obviously, creating vertical displacement is very nice, but this is just as helpful, especially with this concept. They're trying to down block this, pull through, and then hit back off this behind the backs of these guys that are down blocking. And Armstead just sees him shoot up the field, so he just lets him carry him that way, and then they're able to work off the back of everyone else between Jackson and Hunt there. Very, very smart work. Armstead is the type of guy, he works smarter, not harder, and he just will win a lot of reps like this, where he doesn't even have to try that much, just because he understands the play calling and what defenders are trying to do against him. Look at Armstead fire off the ball here, helping, down block this, help with, Win get his position, and then cut off the linebacker at the next level. This is beautiful. This is an amazing athletic play. This guy is a 2-tech from the left tackle position to help, Win attack that low hip of this defensive lineman to really give Win complete control, and now Win can cut this guy off, and then Armstead takes a great angle because he's climbing and then is able to cut him off. He has to readjust slightly right there because he kind of squares him up, gets caught up there a little unexpectedly, but then gets his left hand back on your leverage hand right there and give him this cutting lane. And if Chosen had blocked this up, H-hand might have gone for a really long way because he had a 1-on-1 with a safety. But Armstead, really, really perfect blocking, athleticism. What he brings to this team is really valuable. He's one of the definitely in the top 5 most valuable players on this team, and that's why I'm so excited to see him back, because you could see the offense looked really good without him, but it hit a different level once he came on the field. This right here from Armstead is beautiful footwork, his technique, his patience, his mirror and match ability, because this is one of the plays where Tua had to hold on to it a little bit longer. With 2nd and 15, he had to get to a second, third read to find Hill, and you can just see a lot of the guys, they try to win to the outside usually, and he's one-on-one, and look at him just win with that inside. The guy tries to win inside counter, and you can see that power hand to the inside. You have to be able to have power with that inside hand when they counter like this, and he just completely stonewalls him. Good base, good bend in his lower half, and he keeps his feet wide the whole time as he's just matching, active. He anchors, guys tries to spin out. Just absolutely dominant, beautiful, elite rep. Everything that you could ask for. This is like teaching tape for offensive linemen with his footwork right there. And Tua delivers a strike down the field to Hill. This is the difference that having an elite offensive lineman has when you can have one-on-one versus some decent edge rushers from the Broncos, but they were pretty much non-existent in this game. Here we got Armstead head up on a 4-tech. Have to see what they do. They're running toss to his size, and he's just reaching. You want to get your head across. The aiming point on this pitch play for Mostert is all the way on the outside. He's leading behind angled here, so either hit through here or to the outside. So Armstead wants to hook him, reach, get this outside leverage, and even though this defender is able to create a little bit of push on Armstead, this is just exactly what you want to do. Reset those hands, high hand, low hand, turn those shoulders, and once he turns that shoulder, he's able to get complete control, get his hips across here, and then reset those hands, fight this long enough until Mostert's able to clear that gap. He does exactly his job every single time, even when it's not like a completely dominant rep where he's athletically or physically dominating someone. He just can, win with these nuanced plays, understanding exactly what needs to be done. Last play that we're going to break down here for Armstead, another one-on-one rep versus an edge defender. He tries to win with speed to the outside. Armstead not having it. You can see, even though he's patient and can be a little nonchalant sometimes coming out of his stance, he doesn't want to overreact, doesn't want to overset, gets to the outside, but he just wins instantly from this rep right here, because he's trying to set this up slow play and then hit the speed. And you can look at Armstead fake this. He gives a little look there, he might jab with his hands, and this defensive lineman tries to put the 2 hands out there, win with some speed to power, maybe create some space, 2-hand swipe down, and he just completely whiffs, and now Armstead just carries him out of the way. He's just a veteran out there making these plays in pass protection. His pass protection film is so fun to watch, and then he's just very smart as a run defender. Sometimes he'll have those amazing elite plays where he just physically dominate someone or does something crazy with athleticism, but most of the time he's just getting in the right positioning, cutting people off, and doing what's asked for his job in that specific play. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure that subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.